Hey folks, Colin here from Something's Recording, and today is day one of a new series I'm starting on recording with the PreSonus AudioBox USB. Okay, so today we're going to be going over drums, okay? And since we only have two inputs on this, we will be doing virtual drums, okay? So today I'm going to be showing you how to program virtual drums for a short sample of a song and how to route them out into audio tracks, all right? Okay, so first things first, we're going to breeze through setup because this video is not setting up your AudioBox USB. We are going to focus on recording with it in this series, okay? So recording a song from scratch with your AudioBox USB, okay? So in terms of setup, you want to make sure you plug it in, okay? So you got your USB on the back, and that's going to go right into your computer, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to go to PreSonus.com and you want to download Universal Control so you can get your drivers installed for your audio box, okay? And then we should be all set to go and we can set up our new song inside of Studio One. So we're gonna start a blank song here inside of Studio One, okay? We're not gonna use my template because that's a little bit more convoluted than what we're gonna do today, okay? So we're gonna save it to my external drive here and we'll just call it, I think we're gonna do one of the something songs. We'll do a Something's Gotta Give. We'll just do a brief short sample of it for recording and we'll call it sample. Okay, the tempo you can set here, we will do 71 because it's 71. It's 4/4 and it is in the key of G. Click OK and load up our empty song. Okay, so the first thing that you want to take care of is the drums. Okay, so we don't have a live drummer. As I said, we're not going to be doing any kind of full tracking with this unit. We're going to be doing guitar, bass, and we will talk about doing stereo when we do stereo keys, okay? And we'll also do a little bit of vocals and organ as well, okay? So we're going to do instruments here, and we're going to put in the MT Power Drum Kit, okay? So this is actually a free virtual drum kit, okay, that you can get from Monda Audio. It's called the MT Power Drummer, okay? So here's all our drums. Let me get my headphones on here. Okay, so we can actually just pull up grooves and see if there's one that we need. So we'll get a verse one. We'll make them 4 bars. So those are our fills. So we're going to start with the basic one. So this is pretty much just your... So we'll get that one. And then the same thing with the ride. So we got a verse and we got a chorus groove, and we can always go back for, you know, fills and stuff if we need them. So we'll move both of them out here a little bit. Okay, so we've got our drum kit. That's our verse, and then we've got a chorus one. So we're gonna make these a little bit bigger, and we'll do a little bit of editing on these before we start tracking our other instruments. Okay, so I kind of want to set it to go with the groove of the song. So we'll make a little loop here. So what we'll do is maybe put a little guy right here. So that's kind of the groove we're looking for, is the... So we'll add the same thing here. And that should be our short little groove there. We might have to simplify. That's kind of a lot of kicks. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these early kicks down a little bit. Same thing there. And our ghost can come down a little bit more. Maybe not. That one can come down just a touch. And that one can come down a little bit. So that's our groove, and we'll duplicate it again since we edited it. So I'm going to get rid of the cymbal for the moment, because I just want... So we've got... We're going to try a little ghost here, see how it sounds. That's too much. And maybe the same thing there, but real low. Kick can come down a little bit more. And that ghost can come down a little bit more. We want these to be really subtle here. And that kick can come down a little bit more. So again, we'll copy that over to our second bar, and that is our... So we're going to copy that same part over to the chorus groove. So that's our main drum groove. We just kind of want it to go along with the song, and you'll see how these kicks and snares that I put in that may be a little bit too much right now, they will fit with the song as we add more stuff, okay? So we can come down here and get our drums at a good level. Okay, so we will get our intro going. We're not going to do any kind of build up or anything. We're just going to start straight off with it. So. And then into a verse. And then our chorus comes back around. So we're going to add a couple of markers just so I know where everything is. So here's our start, here's our verse, here's our chorus. So that is all we're going to do. We'll make sure our chorus is good, and then we'll loop it all the way back around. So that will come back to our, that'll come back to our reintro. So now we can add in our cymbals and stuff. Over to here. So we'll make that a double. And then going into verse, just a single. Then back into chorus, also a double. So now we want to send out of our drum kit and print these, right? Because we want to have control over all of the individual tracks. And inside this plugin, all we have is volume control over these tracks, okay? We won't do any tom fills or anything at the moment. We're just kind of leave this pretty basic. We could actually add simple tom fills. So we want to get rid of the ride, and then we'll do I want to see which ones these are. So these are both that one, these are both that one, that's the low one. So we'll go. So I want that second tom, so we'll make it this here. Or we could go all the way. We could go So open hi-hats to give us a better transition. maybe a double snare here, but lower. Maybe take that one all the way down. And there we'll do another one of these. And that we'll put a tom filter. That one we can actually put a, so if we cut this, we can actually drag in one of the fills from the groove section. So we want to do the hi-hat one, and we'll do, I think there's a tom buildup that we could throw in. That'll work. Oh, left them both going. So we want to kind of change this last groove a little bit. So we kind of want to make these so maybe not a buildup. That doesn't sound quite right. So if we, I like the fill though. So we'll keep the fill. And we'll go grab one of our second lines and we'll copy the first part of it. So now we can pull these back down and just make the last one all the way through. So there's our rollover, but since we added that fill, we kind of want to merge these together. And then we want to fill at the end here. We could just do a simple one. Maybe cymbal hits? That's good enough. So that's good enough for our drums. Now we'll talk about sending them all out, right? So we want to get all of our drums sent out to individual tracks before we want to track anything else, because otherwise we won't have control over our volume. So the way you can do that inside here is if you go to your mixer, you can see you have up to 8 outs here, okay? So we can send our kick out 1, snare out 2, the side stick we don't have anything. Can send our hi-hats out 3. Our toms can all go out 4. Or actually, I think we're only using certain ones. So we're not using the bell, we're using our crashes. So we can put our crashes out 8. We'll put our ride and bell out 7, just so we have control over those. And then we have 4, 5, and 6 for our toms. So we can do it like that. Even though we're not using the high tom, I don't think we are. We might be using it in that second roll, but that's okay. It'll print out this way then. So then you want to go here and make sure these are all selected. And that way you can send out them. So what we can do now is we can create 8 tracks, and you can do that either by pressing T or by pressing the plus button up here. And for now, we'll just name them kick, and we will do 8. They have to be stereo, and we'll make them blue because I always make my drums blue. So now we got our 8 tracks. So we can name them by tabbing through them. So here's our snare, hi-hat. We will call it high tom, mid tom, and low tom. And then we will do ride and cymbals. So there's our 8, and then what you can do is route their input from an instrument. So our kick is 1, our snare is 2, our hi-hat is 3, our high tom is 4, our mid tom was 5, our low tom is 6, our ride and bell were 7. We're not using the bell though. And then our cymbals, our 2 cymbals were 8. Okay, so now we can record enable all of these. We can shut that off. And maybe before we do that, maybe we'll put an intro in, just for kicks. So we'll drag everything over 2 bars, just so we have a little intro. We can drag that back, and I did like this, but we'll do it with the ride. We can put that right there, so we'll have our intro. So we'll move everything over 1 more bar, because we'll do a 2-bar piano intro, I think. So we'll go, 4 bar. So that is our intro, and then our band intro will start there. So we will mark our regular intro here, and then our band intro. So our band intro is where our loop point will be set. So that's where everything will loop around. So we will merge all our MIDI together. We can stretch it out to our start and end points, so we don't have any bad crossovers or anything. Because sometimes these drums will go a little bit longer than they are supposed to. So now we can just record and let these run through. So it's only, let's see, a minute and a half of stuff. So we don't have to record right from the beginning because our drums don't start till here. So these should send into these other tracks then. So we can see our snares coming in kind of hot. So there's our hi-hat. It didn't look like we had a high tom there, so we might be able to nuke our high tom track after we are finished here. I'm just curious if our snare is clipping though. No high tom there either. So there's that, and then we have our little fade on the end there, so the drums ring out a little bit. So that's that. We can merge these and take them all the way through, and then bounce them out, and we can take a look at the snare to make sure it didn't clip. Otherwise, we can just record our snare again, and I can show you how to do that. Doesn't look like it clipped, but now I want to do some gain staging here. So what we can do is we can disable our instrument track so it doesn't take up any more processing, and we can hide that and then take a look at our drums one by one. So the cymbals look good, the ride looks good, the hi-hat could probably come up a touch, so I'm going to bring that up 3 dB with a shortcut on my keyboard. The kick could probably come up 3, the snare could probably come down maybe more than 3. Yeah, so I'm going to bring our snare down 6. Let's see where our kick is. So that's good for our kick. I just want them to be in between this -12 and -6 area. -6 is a little hot for me, so I want to be below that. Our hi-hat is okay, lower. It doesn't look like we used our high tom, so we can nuke that and then change these names just because they'll be a little bit more clear for me. So we got a rack and floor, and you can zoom in over here on Studio One with that dial. So let's see where our rack is sitting. Yep, so our rack's a little hot too. That's better. Let's see where our floor is at. Yeah, our floor can come down. So those are good. Our ride looked okay. Let's see where our ride's sitting. Yeah, and then our cymbals looked okay as well. Yeah, those look okay. We might have to pull those down because, you know, they'll get mixed in. So the last thing we're going to do here before we finish up on our drums is we're going to do a little bit of routing. So we can hide all our instrument tracks here as well in our console. So instead of sending all of these right to the main, I'm going to Control-Shift-G and create a bus for selected channels, and we will call these drums. So all of our drums can send to one bus, and we can have control over all of them. And we will also make that blue, and then that can send to our main, okay? And then the last thing we're going to do, just for organizational purposes, is pack these into a folder also called drums, okay? So that is it for our first video. That is how we got our virtual drums put in, since we only have 2 inputs on our AudioBox USB. We got our drums programmed, we got our little loop set, we got our drums routed out, and we are ready to start tracking bass and guitars, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in part 2.